Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This right here is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's wonderful, just wonderful, magnificent even to have you along for the ride. So the Yankees can have one of the best records in baseball for the whole season. They can win the first round, well, their first round, their divisional series there against the Royals. That's funny. Okay, anyway, moving on. The Philadelphia Eagles are back in football this weekend. They kick off at 1 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field against the Cleveland Browns. And I got a really good feeling about this game. And I've been, actually, I want to say I've been the more positive on the Eagles than most in terms of I still think they make the playoffs. I just don't think they win a playoff game. But I think they make the playoffs. That's my vibe on it. But yesterday I got a little shot in the arm of positivity from our quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Yesterday, something happened. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but something happened. Jalen Hurts, after two different occasions, one in minicamp, the other in training camp, when he was teed up to just simply say something nice about Nick Sirianni, he couldn't do it. It was next to impossible for him. He had to be pushed on the issue. No, seriously, say something nice about your head coach. His message is nice, okay? So then yesterday, Jalen Hurts is addressing the media, and Jalen Hurts, unsolicited, he was not asked about Nick Sirianni. We'll let you hear it. He was asked about what he did during his bye week, and just out of nowhere, Jalen Hurts said that he and Nick had some great moments together. Then he was asked a follow-up question, and he expounded upon that. What? Are pigs flying? How cold is hell right now? Is it frozen? Has it frozen over? That was, in all honesty, I did not have that on my post-bye week bingo card. You know what I do have on my post-bye week bingo card? The Eagles scoring in the first quarter. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. And do I sound like Paulie Pom-Poms yet? I got them making the playoffs, and then they're actually going to do something they don't do, which is score in the first quarter. Did you hear Dallas Goedert's explanation for why they haven't scored in the first quarter? It's because teams throw different things at them in the first quarter, and they need to figure it out. So the Eagles apparently are the only team in all of football who is getting different things thrown at them in the first quarter of games. They got to figure it out. Everybody else trouble. I'll give you the reason why. I'll tell you why. Turnovers. That's the reason why. Jalen Hurts. That's the reason why. Above all else, the number one, turnovers. If you stop turning the football over, you'll be better at football. So, especially in the early goings of the game, especially like against the Packers, you don't want to turn the football over early. Please stop doing that. So that's been a problem for the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously, is a turnover thing. Jalen Hurts was asked about that yesterday. Look, it's the number one thing. If you're saying, what are the Eagles going to do now in week 6 and on through the rest of the season that's going to turn things around for them? It's got nothing to do with how the head coach and the quarterback get along or don't, or now that everything's great, apparently. It's got nothing to do, in all honesty, with I think Vic Fangio's scheme. Is going to have to come down to a lot more of that talent. I blame 15 missed tackles a hell of a lot more than I blame Vic Fangio for what went down against the Buccaneers before the bye week. The number one thing is turnovers. That's the killer. That is the absolute killer. If you're going to change one thing from now to then, now to the end of the season, as to what is going to make or break your season, it is going next to health and everybody staying healthy and getting guys back like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Lane Johnson. Right there, right with it, is turnovers. That is the absolute 1 billion% killer. And it's been happening at an alarming, historic rate for Jalen Hurts since last year. That needs to stop. Not slow down. Not, let's work on it a little. Let's work on it a little. No, stop. It needs to stop. Hey, look, there's going to be tipped balls, okay? There's going to be misreads between him and a wide receiver. That can happen. Receiver runs the wrong route, throws to the in when it was supposed to be on the out, whatever, or the receiver runs the out, whatever. That's going to happen. but just bad decisions by Jalen Hurts need to end. It needs to end because it's all coming back to the quarterback. Also, this matchup against the Cleveland Browns. Right now, I believe Parks Casino has the Eagles as 9.5-point favorites. The Cleveland Browns are a terrible football team. They're a god-awful football team. And I would love, this is where I don't get so optimistic, I would love to pick the Eagles by 17 points, a complete blowout. The Eagles win 30-13, something of that nature, and I'd love to see that happen. However, the Browns are coming off a blowout loss to the Commanders is the team name now. I don't know if that happens back-to-back weeks. I don't think that happens in back-to-back weeks, but they are a bad football team. We're going to get into some things that I'm really looking forward to in this game, things that I really want to see exploited for the Eagles to take advantage of in this game. And I will tell you this much. I see them winning. 9.5. It'd be nice to see them win by 10, something that's just impossible for this team to do, unfortunately, over the last 2 seasons. But we'll see if they can do it this weekend. And I have some things that I'm going to be looking at as far as things the Eagles need to do to own the Cleveland Browns. Here's one hint before I get into it. Deshaun Watson's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Maybe, here's an idea, get to him. I know we just said the same thing about Baker Mayfield. He was sacked 7 times in the previous meeting prior to the Buccaneers playing the Eagles, and the Eagles they might have met him once. Get after it in this game. The door is going to be open. The most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Get it after him in this one. No excuses. Also, still reeling a little bit there from the Phillies loss. Again, not a shock that they lost. Once they lost game 1, I thought that was it. That's a wrap. I thought they needed to have one thing go their way in the early goings of the series, and they got the one thing with Kyle Schwarber on the right foot, and then nothing. But anyway, I didn't see them winning the series after game 1. Now it's whose head is going to roll. And make no mistake about it, somebody's getting fired. I don't think it's going to be Rob Thompson. I think Kevin Long is going to get fired. I think he's going to get canned. But here's the greater concern. To me, it's not even about, you have a team of veterans. I mean, you're built around vets. Those guys are all of a sudden going to change their stripes. Those guys are all of a sudden going to learn a new trick. Someone's head's going to roll. I have no doubt about that. I think it's going to be Kevin Long. Nothing against Kevin Long. I think it's going to be Kevin Long. You're talking about the hitting approach over the last couple of seasons here. The chase rate at 35%, highest in baseball, taking that into the postseason, 35%. That ain't happening. That ain't good. Trey Turner's always going to be a free swinger. Bryce Harper's going to have the ability to work it at bat. Nick Castellanos is always going to be swinging early in counts, though. Talk about a guy that could change his approach. Is he still chasing? Yes. Is he still swinging at the first pitch? Yes. More than anybody in baseball? Yes. But that's who he is. That's who you signed. That's who made an all-star team now 2 seasons ago. That's who was your most consistent hitter from June on of last year. So that is this past season, I mean. That's who he's going to be. Kyle Schwarber is going to go up there. He's going to try to work a count. That's going to happen. But watching the approach of Alec Boehm, watching the approach of Bryson Stott, who they tried to mess with in the middle of the season, and that didn't do anything for him. It might have sent him down a tailspin even more. Brandon Marsh hasn't come around. He starts out hot, and then he crashes, unfortunately. What are you going to do with that approach at the plate? Who's the guy you're going to get that's going to work a count? Do you have somebody coming up from the minors that has that type of mentality when they go up to the plate? Johan Rojas didn't show much improvement this year. And when he did, You benched him for Austin Hayes to move Brandon Marshall to center field. It's nerve-wracking is the word that comes to mind. So I think the only sure thing is one guy's going to get canned, and I don't think it's going to be a total cleaning house of the coaching staff. I think Kevin Long gets canned. And then I'm crossing my fingers that the Phillies are able to find somebody that knows how to work a count, somebody that can show the other team, show the other guys the way, maybe get into better ABs. Because when you get into the postseason after 162 games, and I was talking to somebody yesterday that was just like, so where did it go? The old Ryan Howard question of like, hey, when you really have it, where does it go? Where did it go? Well, when you play 162 games against non-playoff teams, a lot of them against non-playoff teams, I should say, and then you play the playoff teams, and their sole focus is making sure they make you do this one thing that you're known to do, and whether it's Luis Severino, whether it's Kodai Senga, good God, whether it's David Peterson, whether it's Sean Manaea, it is chasing stuff out of the zone. They'll be overly aggressive. They'll get you. They'll get you. They just make you do it time and time again. And that's how you win one playoff game after 95 regular season games. We're all having fun. We're all having fun. Okay. Let's start it off with your Philadelphia Eagles. Let's get into it. First and foremost, let's get into the good times that were had over this week. First and foremost, I want to let you guys hear from Nick Sirianni, because Nick Sirianni was very impressed with the guys that were coming into the NovaCare complex throughout the bye week. What bye week? Guys were working. Nick Sirianni. Now, the question was about not scoring in the first quarter, not getting points in the first quarter throughout the season so far through 4 games. Nick Sirianni was asked about what this team needs to do in order to correct that, and he went to work ethic, and guys showing it.
Again, like, yeah, of course, like you go through all those different things, and you think about, again, that's just not a 1 year, that's just not a 4-game study. That's a 4-year study we take a look at. And we definitely have some thoughts of, we know we got to start faster. We know we got to score in the first quarter, shoot. And so, yeah, everything was on the table with as far as, you know, the style of plays, the players, how we call it, how the defense looks to open things up. And I had some good thoughts. We have some really good thoughts coming out of it. Obviously, not going to get into specifics. You'll see how that transpires. You know, we put ourselves. I just, again, like I said about the bye week, there's just so much time. There's just so much room for growth because of the extra time that you get to really put the work in and grind it out to see what you can do better and what you do well.
He goes on to talk about how impressed he was with how the players responded from the bye week. That's the work they did as coaches, looking at not just the 4 games of this season, but looking into last season, why they were sputtering out of the gate, why they were spinning their wheels coming out of the gate. He talked about motion offense 2 days ago, about how they haven't using motion in the offense. That's something that has dwindled since week 1. And he says it's just a small sample size as to why they haven't used it as much since week 1, literally less and less as the season has gone on. Maybe we see more of it against the Browns. To me, if you're scripting your first 15 plays and you're trying to throw what you do best in the face of a defense and trying to find that perfect balance of what they don't do well versus what you do well and trying to exploit those weaknesses and all that, to me, I think if you're using your first 15 plays and you're scripting those out, if motion is helping things for you, keep it going. 30 points in week 1, use some motion there. Haven't seen that same team since. Struggle after struggle after struggle. When you're talking about players, though, coming in, they had a long layoff earlier in the season, of course, from week 1 to week 2, 10 days, going from playing in Brazil, obviously, to taking on the Falcons. You watch this team try to build momentum, and they seem to be, well, it seems to be next to impossible for them to do. And they've been trying to build momentum since the end of last season, and they haven't found that momentum yet. I think one of the biggest reasons, other than things going on the football field with turnovers, Jalen Hurts, and whatever he's being coached to do, whatever is going through his mind when he's trying to make decisions, I think whatever you're watching from him all stems back to coaching. And he was asked yesterday about hard coaching, Jalen Hurts. And he said he's always been a guy that always has to be coached hard. That's what he said 3 years ago. Last year, he reiterated it this year. The one caveat he threw in was defining the word hard. In essence, what it sounded like was he needs to be a guy that is going to be called out on things he's doing wrong. I think it's pretty obvious what he's been doing wrong. It's a matter of, I guess, hearing it from his coaching staff, hearing it from Coach Nuss, the quarterback's coach, hearing it from guys in the huddle. A.J. Brown, his good friend, respects the opinion of, obviously. I think when it comes down to being coached hard, it comes down to guys holding him accountable and how he can't continue to make the same mistakes. That was the one caveat that he threw in yesterday when I was addressing the media. He did say that the number one thing he's got to focus on after the bye week, it all comes down to whether or not he, as the quarterback who, quote, touches the ball on every play, has the ability to play, quote, clean football. That's what it starts with. And I know we could get into the whole realm of blame between Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman and overall coaching over the last couple of years with Jalen Hurts. But the guy who has the final decision on where that ball is going to go, the guy that always has the final decision, the final say. We always look for that. Who has final say, right? Jalen Hurts has final say. He's a guy who can go up to the line of scrimmage. He can change the play if he doesn't like what he sees. He has the freedom to do that. Or he drops back when he's about to make a throw. He's got final say over where that football goes. And that includes throwing it away. Oh, throwing it away. Look, the sidelines. 10 yards into the sidelines where you can't have a turnover. Throw it away. Live to play another day. Live to fight another play. It always comes down to the quarterback. And when you look at the turnover issues, that's a quarterback problem. Jalen Hurts has been pressured at a very high rate. I think 39% on dropbacks. I wonder how much of that is the offensive line and injuries, and I wonder how much of that is him holding the football too long. I wonder how much of that is that slow release time. If you're going into a game like you were against the Buccaneers and you knew you were down starters in your offensive line, or you had a banged up starter in Mekhi Becton, then you got to know, I got to get rid of this football. Time is of the essence. I don't have the luxury of Elaine Johnson as my right tackle. Time is of the essence. I got to play with one hand. Time is of the essence. I have Landon Dickerson taking a couple snaps earlier in the season at the center position. I need to get rid of the football. That needs to be in the back of his head too. And that's something, of course, that could take some time to adjust to, being that he's been used to having a fine offensive line in front of him. But still, it all comes down to the quarterback having to make that adjustment. He did talk about what he did during the bye week, and this is where he goes into saying something unsolicited, saying something nice again about his coach.
Just spend the time away.
Just took, like any other bye week, obviously some time away from the building a little bit, but also really diving into some things, talking to my coaches, and really having great moments with Nick.
Because there's just
really having great moments with Nick. Okay. Can you expound upon that a little bit?
No. Well, I think this is probably, I say, I've been a part of this year, where my career, just been able to, like I said, share those moments and talk through some things and build.
What do you guys talk about? What made the moments great?
I won't get too into it, but some great moments.
Why do you think that is, this deep into your career for 4 years? Why do you think that those moments revealed itself now?
I'm not sure. I think the reality for us, we just have to go out there and play within ourselves and in our identity and who we are, and
there's something right there. The identity thing is something we'll get into, but I don't care if he has an explanation for it. All I care about is that's People made a big deal of the two of them riding off in a golf cart together at training camp. I was like, a little forced. It felt a little awkward more than anything. Hey, can I ride with you? Yeah, sure. That kind of thing. Obviously, what we see on the football field is what matters above everything else. But why is all that going on in the football field? Why aren't we seeing the Jalen Hurts that we saw of 2022, a guy competing for an MVP? Why didn't we see the guy that was even playing in the beginning parts of last year when they were 10-1 and was in the MVP conversation? Was the favorite to win the MVP going into that San Francisco 49ers game? Why haven't we seen that guy? Well, I think it all starts with a huge disconnect. Huge disconnect. And if all of a sudden they're able to connect, if they're able to put the past in the past, and I still believe that Jalen Hurts held a grudge or was rubbed extremely the wrong way over the way Brian Johnson was handled, then you got to put all that in the past, because ultimately what we're doing right now, what's happening in the moment, is building a legacy. And what's happening for a lot of other people is they're waiting to see what the Eagles' identity is. Folks, in 2022, the Eagles didn't have an identity. They had the only identity that mattered, really. Because when people talk about identity, they're like, running team, throwing team, great defense. Like, what's their identity? Mistake-free football? What's their identity? Their identity was all of the above when needed to win a game. That's the only identity I give a damn about. Really? The identity? Winners. That's the only identity. What's their identity? They win. Oh, okay. That sounds pretty good. They are a chameleon. Whatever they needed to be, they could be. Now it seems like I have no idea. They can't find anything. They're a 500 football team after 4 weeks. Small sample size, sure, but it's a quarter of the season. And it's a continuation with a lot of the same mistakes that we saw in last year's implosion. So what's their identity going to be? Well, as soon as you get back to just being a winning team, let's just establish that as an identity. The Eagles should win this game easily on Sunday. They should. Browns are a terrible football team. The Eagles are a team struggling to get back on a regular winning track. They're coming off their bye week. They're as fresh as can be. You have guys back that you missed before the bye week, and all these guys are Pro Bowl, if not all pro talent that they're getting back. You should win this game. They made a change defensively, and I'm not talking about Devin White getting let go. That is what it is. I'm talking about bringing in Cooper DeJean as their slot corner, as their nickel, excuse me. That is a big change, because I really don't want to see Cooper DeJean diving all over the field, missing tackles when he's coming up trying to make tackles behind the line of scrimmage, is what we saw from Avonte Maddox in week 4. That's a change. You're changing essentially a starter. But if your defense is going to be missing tackles, your offense needs to find a way to keep up. And again, that goes back to the quarterback. To get into this game a little bit, the number one thing, I'll go back to it. This can't be a game where you see turnovers, especially if it's close, late, and you're building some momentum for yourself offensively. You can't have that Levante David type fumble that Jalen Hurts had in the pocket in week 4. That can't happen. You can't have that momentum killer. When you're starting to feel like you're getting back into the swing of things, you're starting to establish some rhythm as an offense, and all of a sudden, oops, gave the ball away again. Can't happen. So the turnover battle obviously is something I want to see the Eagles win. Let's just get that out of the way. Number 2, this Eagles defensive line, I have to see a very similar level of play that I saw this defensive line have against the New Orleans Saints. They've done it once. I'll put it to you like this. We've seen one good game from the Eagles defensive line. That was against the Saints. One good game against the Saints. The other 3, pretty terrible. All right. Then, you know what else I need to see? I need to see this Eagles linebacking core of Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean, who, by the way, was the only Eagle limited at practice yesterday with an ankle issue. I need to see them step up and play. Nick Sirianni was asked 2 days ago about Jeremiah Trotter Jr., whether or not he's ready to be a starting Mike linebacker, and more or less it was, yeah, if he needs to be, we have confidence in him playing. So that's good to hear. It's not, it's a process. We didn't get one of those answers, So, okay, fine. So if he gets into this game and he actually gets a couple of snaps, we'll see. We'll see what he can do out there on the field finally since the preseason as a linebacker, not a special teamer. So I look forward to that. But from the Eagles' defensive line standpoint, we've seen one good game. From the Eagles' linebacking core, we've seen two all around, from Dean to Bond, good games. Bond has played pretty well in every game. But as far as a unit goes, two good games, two okay games. With Dean, you could probably say two bad games. It balances out a little bit with Bond's play. But he's been obviously the biggest concern from the linebacking position, Nakobe Dean. So I hope he gets to 100% and he can run around and make some plays for you coming up against this Cleveland Browns offense. So that's what I'm going to be looking at, though. Defensively, how are they going to get after the quarterback? I mean, you're looking at a guy in Deshaun Watson who, again, has been sacked 26 times, most in the NFL. He is coming off a performance. Good God, man. He is coming off a performance where he's got sacked 7 times. 7 times. Another quarterback that has been sacked 7 times. Just like you saw from Baker Mayfield. No excuses. Got to get after him in this game. And the other thing that you're looking at with Deshaun Watson is, so last week was 7 sacks. The Raiders only got to him 3 times. Against the Giants got to him 8 times, for crying out loud. And the Cowboys got to him 6 times. So he's a very sackable quarterback, Deshaun Watson. I know they're already starting to talk about potentially going to Jameis Winston. If you like turnovers, he's got a lot of them. So get after the quarterback is going to be the second thing I'm looking at here. Something else to keep in mind here is the rushing attempts, or the rushing yards allowed last week. 215 rushing yards allowed. Saquon Barkley. I mean, I know Smitty and AJ, I know Swole and Skinny Batman are going to be out there doing their thing. But let's not forget about Saquon. I wouldn't mind seeing the Eagles going out in this game and doing almost what they did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is what they should have done, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is establish that run and open up that play action. I don't think you're going to need it against this team, against the Browns, but it's not going to hurt you, and it'd certainly be something that would be great to utilize in this game so that you have it for later in the season as well. Not necessarily put it all on film, but just show that you can do it. Saquon having a big game, I think, is going to be huge. I would love to see this game establish that run, open up the pass tremendously, and then in the fourth quarter, we see Saquon run away with it, and then we see Kenny Gainwell kill the clock, whatever that's ultimately what I'd love to see from this team. One concern I do have is that the Eagles' run stuffing ability hasn't exactly been there this year. And a week ago, they allowed 5.1 yards per carry. That's what they're doing, I think, actually through the first 4 games. Let's get away from that. Like, if turnovers is something on the field you're seeing on a consistent basis that's alarming, that you want to see stopped, the run defense step up and make some stops in this one. Devontae Foreman's been dealing with an injury. See what he comes out and does in this game. From a offensive perspective, Myles Garrett's dealing with an Achilles injury. He's been banged up. Didn't get anything last week against the Commanders. Lane Johnson in that matchup should be interesting to see what you get there. Lane did say he feels great, and he's going to be going out there, and he's going to be playing fine. But that's what I'm going to be looking at in this game. I'm going to be looking at turnovers. I'm going to be looking at how the Eagles are going to be running the football, how the Eagles are going to be stopping the run. I'm going to be looking at what they do to get after the quarterback. Like, it's all right there for the Eagles to take advantage of. Also, it's also a clean perspective of the game. The tackling issue from 2 weeks ago. This is, unfortunately, I don't see many people getting better throughout a year with tackling. You saw it almost in a week to week where they made tackles and then they didn't. Like against Atlanta, they made some tackles. Against the Saints, they missed some tackles. Made him in the backfield. Fortunately, came up with some big plays there. The Buccaneers is the most horrific game we have seen probably since the last time they played the Buccaneers and couldn't tackle anything. The only thing you can do is change personnel and hope for the best. The Eagles making one change on personnel. Cooper DeJean says he's all caught up from everything that he missed with injury during training camp, and he is ready to let loose. Go prove it, young fella. Go get that NFL career started as a starter in the nickel position. Show me what you can do. Be aggressive. Let's see that physicality. Let's see that smarts. Because one thing that's really jumped out to me from Quinyon Mitchell, for instance, is the smarts. Like, he doesn't play like a rookie. There's zero timidness about his game. He's there to make a play. And you could say it's just talk, but seeing him jaw with Mike Evans, yeah, that shows me some confidence. I'm not saying Cooper DeJean needs to go out there and needs to talk trash or anything like that. Cooper DeJean just needs to go out there and play his game. But in his game and how he plays it, you'll see if that confidence is there or not. In the limited time we've seen him out there, he doesn't play timid. He doesn't play scared. Now you're going to be replacing a veteran in Avonte Maddox. They have made the decision that you're all caught up. You're ready to go. Will you unleash the fury? And that's what I'll be looking at when it comes to Cooper DeJean. The only thing you can really do is change personnel. Nothing else has happened. Sidney Brown wasn't limited with his knee injury. He was activated off the pup. That window is open. Maybe he gets into this game as well. We know he can be a heat-seeking missile. That's the way he likes to play. I need to see all that. Look, Amari Cooper ain't what he used to be, but he's still a veteran wide receiver who can make some plays for you. Jerry Jeudy has had a rather disappointing career now that he's in Cleveland. Elijah Moore, David Njoku, these are all guys that obviously keep an eye on. But look, if the defense wants to make that statement game that we're back, baby, or at least this is the new platform we're going to be on, the new level we're going to play on, then this is a game to do it. And it's going to start, I think, with that defensive line being able to get after it. Right, Vic Fangio? Ugh. Thank you. Thank you, Vic Fangio. A couple other things with this Eagles team. The offensive line. Lane is going to be everything, obviously. Mekhi Becton being healthy is going to be huge as well. When things have gone and hit the fan in the past with not running the football, Lane Johnson has been the guy to be like, we should probably run the football. I don't know if that's been a thing with him and Kellen Moore. I know it's been a thing with him and Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, even going back to Doug Peterson. That's been a thing where Lane Johnson has literally either been on the sideline screaming it, or he's been on the field like, let's keep this going because it's working. I don't know if this is going to be a game where he needs to do that, but I'm interested to see if having that type of leadership on the field will help out the offense. Not just in terms of a skill from Lane Johnson, obviously, but in terms of like, let's not forget about the run. If God forbid something's going awry in the passing game in this one, something else needs to help, and that's going to be the run game. And Lane Johnson's been the only he has been almost the assistant run game coordinator to Jeff Stoutland over his time here in Philadelphia. Where when Eagles coaches, unfortunately, in the pass-happy analytic world that Jeffrey Lurie likes to live in, and a lot of the NFL as well, if that's what they're going to do and they're going to forget about it, Lane Johnson, the veteran presence that he could be on that field, also is missed. Sure, all-pro talent at the right guard or right tackle position is certainly missed. The other thing that's missed is the mentality and what he's got going on between the ears and the leadership and the pull and the sway he can have on play calling and decision-making offensively. That's something that we forget about so easy with Lane Johnson. It's like, oh, it's a great player. Gets talked every time he's talked about by his head coach, best right tackle in football. Sure. But what we also forget about is the influence he can have on play calling and strategy. Something that unfortunately seems to go out the window with this Eagles team. I really hope this game isn't going to come down to Saquon having to make a big run or a big play in the fourth quarter of the game. I hope that this is something that the Eagles go out there and they control wire to wire. What I need for my own well-being, and I think what Philadelphia needs right now, give me a controlled win at home. Is that too much to ask? A controlled win at home. A convincing win at home. Give me that. Is that too much? Too much? That is too much to ask. No. Once again, you're favored by 9.5 points going into this game. The Browns are the Browns are what a lot of people think the Eagles are. Like what a lot of Eagles fans think the Eagles are right now. I don't think they're that bad. The Browns are not going to the playoffs. So let's take advantage of beating up on a team that's a bad team. You got the healthy roster back, made an adjustment defensively. Let's go out there and do something that's going to, okay. That's how, this is a game that I will file under my title of Prove It game. That's it. This is a Prove It game. The Browns are a bad football team. You have one win more than them. Yes, you're coming off your bye. Prove that you're not them. That's it. Like people have statement games. I think statement games might be that title might be reserved for when you play a team that is actually on your level. Like unfortunately, the San Francisco 49ers coming into Philadelphia last year, they had a statement game. Okay. Good for them. Horrible for us. That's a statement game. This is a prove it game. Just prove you're not terrible. That's all I'm asking. Prove you're not terrible in this game. Win this game convincingly. Go ahead and cover. I'd love to be that optimistic that you're going to cover. I point this out a lot, but it really does make me back to last season. When I look at the Eagles last year, they had 2 games where they won more than 10 points. Let's make this one of them. It's right there for you. Come off the bye with a win, baby. That's what I'll be looking at. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Maybe you want to go to this game. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. That's right. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase. You want to go to the game? Download the Game Time app. Also, you can use the Game Time Picks feature, which allows you to filter out all the fluff so you get right down to the best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app. You also want to see the price before you check out? The all-in pricing feature, toggle that feature, and you can see exactly what you're paying before you check out. So that way, when you go to check out and you're adding up all the tickets and the money, you're like, okay, this isn't that bad. Oh my God, what is that price? Where'd that come from? Don't you hate that? You toggle the all-in pricing feature and you know exactly what you're paying before you check out. Also, let's not forget about the Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section, in the same row for less money elsewhere, the Game Time app refunds your account 110% of the difference. How about that? And let's not forget about the last-minute ticket deals, the flash ticket deals, even ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. What does that mean? I'll tell you. That simply means that when you want to go to a concert or a comedy show and you want to see that headliner, you could save big bucks by buying tickets an hour after the event starts. Sure, you might miss the opening act, you might miss the middle, but you'll see that headliner you've so desperately wanted to see and admired for so long with the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Sky Motor Cars. How about our friend Brett at Sky Motor Cars? Check out SkyMotorCars.com for Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorCars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how wonderful people are doing on this fine Friday morning. We've made it. It's Friday. April. Good morning, April. Sean Kilrain. Good morning. Stephen Pace. What's going on? Pace or Pache? All right. Anyway. Go Sixers. What's happening? Matthew Peters. Farzy. There you go. Go Sixers. Farzy, they need to trade Bohm. Here's my thing on Bohm. Why are we pushing him out the door so fast? I feel like I'm on crazy. I feel like Alec Bohm made the All-Star team and then disappeared. He didn't. Like, he had a terrible September. I watched Alec Bohm this year finally get the cleanup spot. I watched him, like, crush double after double after double. Then he got injured, and then he was terrible. he said he didn't want to use it as an excuse. Like, okay, fine. Excuse or excuse, schmoosh. What? I'm sorry I said that. Anyway, why do we all of a sudden hate Alec Boehm? Because he threw a couple of hissy fits? Because he showed his frustration with being terrible all of a sudden? I don't get it. I don't get it one bit. I'm not pushing Alec Boehm out the door. Now, he's not on my absolutely do not trade list. He's not on that list. No, sirree. Like, right now, if I had to say, I'd say he's coming back next year. He said after the game he was coming back. If you look at Alec Boehm and his season, okay. 370 in April. May, he actually sucked. Well, May was actually his worst month. 243 with a 279 on base percentage. June, 284. July, 278. August, 270. With a 298 on base percentage. That's pretty terrible. September, 170 in 47 at-bats in the month of September. Going into the offseason or going into the postseason, he hit 163 in the final week of the season. So that's not good. But that's not me going, he sucks. Get him out of here. Like, I don't hate Alec Boehm. And it seems like people really hate Alec Boehm right now. So I'm not just moving on from Alec Boehm like that. Look, if an opportunity presents itself to get a solid bullpen arm, if the opportunity presents itself to get a solid third baseman, defensively and offensively, an outfielder, probably more likely, then yeah, I'm all about it. But I'm not pushing him out the door. I'm taking calls. I'm not pushing him out the door. Matthew Peters, health has nothing to do with turnovers. I agree. Wait, health? Oh, you're talking about the Eagles' offensive line, right? Yeah, it's a mindset with Jalen Hurts. The thing that gives me confidence that Jalen Hurts will stop turning the football over eventually is that it's so easy to not – like the situations he's been in where he's turned it over over the end of last year and the beginning of this one, the situations are amazing. Like 1st and 10 in the red zone, live to fight another play. You don't got to heave it in the middle of the end zone. Like, doesn't need to happen. That's avoidable. Seeing Tyrann Mathieu sitting on the route doesn't need to happen. Devontae Smith could have run a better route, but still, Tyrann Mathieu sitting there, just waiting. Don't throw that football. Scrambling around against the Falcons. Ball gets dropped, and then the interception happens. You don't need to do that. Take the points. The hero ball. I think Jalen Hurts can overcome the hero ball issue. And I think having Devontae Smith and having A.J. Brown will help that. But yeah, health, yeah, nothing to do with it. I agree. Hi, Domination. Yo, good morning. Good morning. Buddy Christ, what's happening? Say Louvre again. He'll throw it fast. All right, Matthew Peters. I hope he does. Just think about this, man. The Eagles are facing Deshaun Watson. The Browns got rid of Baker Mayfield. And I got to say, I love Baker Mayfield's attitude. I really like Baker Mayfield. But he showed me a lot when he went through this whole process because his whole process with Deshaun Watson was, and the Browns, you guys, I just want you guys a playoff game. You guys don't, the Browns don't win playoff games. I just want a playoff game. And I did it against the Steelers, you dumb idiots. And you want to get rid of me for Deshaun Watson? Really? Really? Here's how bad it is for the Browns, okay? How bad is it? It is so bad. It is so bad for the Browns that they might bench Deshaun Watson for Jameis Winston. That's how bad it is. Why not? Do you think Baker Mayfield is love in life? I think Baker Mayfield's love in life. Why not? Good morning, Farzy and friends. How much does Soriani have to lose by to end his run as Eagles head coach? To me, if you're firing Nick Sirianni now, like, look, I would have fired him at the bye week. Like, I would have fired him at the end of last year. I would have fired him at the bye week. This is ridiculous. What are we doing? Okay. But overall, I think you're playing a really bad football team this week. You're healthy. You're healthy with Pro Bowlers returning. So for me, you win this game, and I think you win it comfortably. Maybe there's a backdoor cover there by the Browns, but I feel like for 3 quarters you're going to be comfortable. So for now, Jeffrey Lurie isn't going to have the egg on his face. Jason A, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Less motion seems like we didn't have AJ and Smitty. That's possible too. Jason A. The one question that I had when I was listening to the press conference was, well, hold on, is Jalen not okay with as much motion? And then now there was a follow-up question there. I think Jimmy Kempsky asked it. Good question. About Jalen Hurts not being comfortable with enough motion. And he's like, no, that's not the case. He's comfortable. All right, fine. Jason, I'm worried we're going to lose to the Browns because just like Tampa the week before, the Browns got blown out the week prior. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and not let that affect my decision. I did say that it rarely happens. When I was talking about the cover earlier, I said I don't know if the Eagles will cover that. Again, I can see a backdoor cover happening, but the Eagles being in control throughout. If the Eagles, I'll put it this way, if the Eagles get blown out against the Browns, it would be the 3rd time I'd fire Nick Sirianni. If the Eagles get blown out by the Browns, it would be the 3rd time I've fired Nick Sirianni, and 0 by Jeffrey Lurie. But very possible that Jeffrey Lurie moves on from him. But he will look like an idiot because, hold on a second, you knew there were problems going into the offseason. You knew there were problems going into the bye week, and now you fire him. Sean Gillespie, good morning. Jalen definitely misses Johnson as his quarterback coach, but he needs to use common sense. Totally agree with that. That's a good way to put that, Sean. Jason, yeah, the whole Nick thing, Johnny Mack thinks he went to the principal's office. Laugh my ass. That's funny. Jordan Mailata also admitted they went upstairs to fix things. Good times. Sean Gillespie, great moments. Nick, extra large espresso with hazelnut. I'm not a big hazelnut guy. You know what I mean? I'm not a big hazelnut guy. K. Riley, what's up, Crowley? Cooper to John in the slot. I'm hyped. Me too. Oh, Babs, I still can't believe the Phillies season is over. I feel lost. Babs, I'm with you. Like, not as far as lost, but just in terms of it really happened. It really happened. And I decreed this yesterday. I decree once again that we never again, from this day forth, we never again decree a switch will be flipped. There is no switch. Switch doesn't exist. The postseason switch, no, not a thing. If you suck in the regular season, odds are you're going to suck in the postseason. Well, there's a switch you got to flip. No, well, we're still looking for it. The lights went out, and they had candlelight looking for it. Where's the offensive switch? Oh, we don't have it? Oh, what do you know? Mr. Perez, what's happening? Great vibes here. Good morning, everyone. Nothing but good vibes, baby. Thank you, Mr. Perez. You think we will see Trotter Jr. on the field Sunday? I do think we'll see Trotter Jr. on the field Sunday. The reason being, linebacking, especially with Nakobe Dean, has not been a thing. Oh, that was another thing. Oh, my God. That was said also by Nick Sirianni. I forgot about it, but it just popped in my head now. Nick Sirianni used a term on Wednesday that I went, try what? What was that? And it was block destruction. As in, somebody's coming to block Jakobi Dean, and he destructs the block. He blows it up. Thought that was a heavy word to use because I haven't seen that ever. I've seen Jakobi Dean shed a blocker a couple times, not a lot, but a couple. Destruction. Okay, all right. It's a very dramatic word to use for considering what we've seen, but yeah, I do think Jeremiah Treasury to get some reps defensively, not just on special teams. Godfrey Wilson. What's up, Godfrey? Eagles coach might be an end of season fire. The national media is talking. Yeah, I agree with that. Nick Sirianni was actually not on the list. I forget who put it together. It wasn't ESPN. I think he was on ESPN's list. Was it CBS? I don't know. There was a list of like coaches on the hot seat after Robert Saleh went down. And Doug Peterson was on it. And then I just scrolled through quickly because I was like, oh, Nick Sirianni's going to be on this one too. And he wasn't. I was like, what? What's going on here? Kenny Sprang, what's going on, man? What up? What up? High domination. Cooper in the slot, definitely much needed. Go Birds. James Alexander, what's happening? Sean Kilrain, what do you see in the World Series now that the Phillies are out, Farzy? Yankees got by the Royals pretty easy. Guardians and Tigers are going to fifth game. I hate to do it because I know it's so cliche, but Subway Series. I don't think you're beating the Mets. Dodgers and Mets, Padres and Mets. I mean, the Padres have a lot of that same juju, mojo that the Mets have. It's Darvish versus Yamamoto tonight. That's going to be such a great game. Yeah, I think it goes Yankees Mets. It's so Jason, it's so bad. $46 million guaranteed a year. What, for Jalen? Yeah. Sean Kilrain, I have an idea. Make Chiriani one of those pom-pom cheerleaders for the Eaglettes, since coaching isn't his thing. That's pretty funny. Coach Corey Behiking, what's happening? Good morning to you as well. Why not? Let's be honest. Laurie wants a coach he can control. Oh, absolutely. That was my point at the end of last year. But Laurie wants to win his way or no way. Philly's version of Jerry Jones. Yeah, pretty much. Except he's won recently. And he's been to another Super Bowl recently. Here's my thing. The number one prerequisite for the Philadelphia Eagles head coach is let Jeffrey Lurie run the team. That's number one. When you get the resume, you look at it, the objective. Oh, you're still going to feel like you own the team and you're going to run things and I'll be a figurehead. Okay. Sounds good. Unless you show brilliance. Oh, thanks, Coach Corey B. Hiking. Appreciate it. Dingbat, what? Oh, Philly 500. I like Philly 500. April, you know my history. Do you know my history of reading? I didn't. Great Moment sounds like a book report when you didn't read it. It's just like I read this book. It's just like it's a lot of great moments. What'd you think of the book? Oh, great moments. Great moments. Remember when the teacher would tell you that she was going to ask questions in the test that were not in the Cliff Notes? Liar. They were always in the Cliff Notes. Thank you again. Sean Kilrain, hello again. Damn you, Farzy. Really? I hear you. Don't want to see that. Oh, the Subway Series. Yeah, that's Subway Series is coming. T-Bro. Great line. Subway Series. Let's go Yankees. My cousin pitches for him now. Oh, your cousin with the Yanks. That's right. Oh, I'm blanking on his name. Damn it. Hold on. It'll come to me. When I look it up. When I look up one of the Yankees. That's funny. My kids are watching the Mario Brother movie now. It's in my head. Stuck in my head. Now it's my hold music. What the hell's bells did I just do? That's not right. Why did it? Sons of a firecracker. This is important. Is it Miza? That's your cousin, right? I believe so. Hey! Nailed it. Look, I was looking over here. Wasn't looking over there yet. Happy Football Friday, says T-Bro. Love Mario. There we go. New Mario Bros. The movie. My kids are into it. I wasn't a Sega kid. Or I was a Sega kid. I was not a Nintendo kid. Mike, what he wants to see from Jalen Hurts. Gain some confidence this game and get the ball out quicker. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, Philadelphia Eagles will beat the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. 31-23. 31-23. The Cleveland Browns lose to the Eagles. Eagles win. They don't cover, unfortunately. That's the way I see this game going. Backdoor cover is the way I see this one going down. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is The Farzy Show. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on The Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. We're yours truly. We'll be giving you your 76ers postcasts coming up in about 2 weeks. No postcast for me for 2 weeks. Guess who's boozing in the evening these days? This guy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Sean Kilrain says 28-14. I could see that as well. And that's what you call a cover, kids. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be back with you guys Sunday, actually, on the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel for Eagles pre and post there. So see you guys then also. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and a great weekend. See you Sunday.